feel like people are out to get you, if you ever feel personally attacked, and if you ever feel like the other person that's making these comments is a jerk, then this video is for you. Because in this video, I'll explain and share my personal journey, but also the actionable steps that you can take to stop taking things so damn personally. I'm not really sure if this lighting's any better, but yeah, let's go. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be teaching you the most actionable steps that I believe you can take to stop taking things so personally, okay? We all do it. We all take people's opinions, people's feedback, and people's comments personally. And I don't know why, because we have no reason to let other people's opinions on us eat us up inside. You've got to start taking it with a pinch of salt, right? Got my little notes on my phone, by the way. I'm still getting used to the whole YouTubey thing. So yeah, let's go. If you continue to overthink a situation, then this is our immature defense mechanism going for the win. It's going to take over your life. It's going to leave you no time or energy to focus on the positive things in life or the things that can help us with our day-to-day life. And you're going to give all of your time and energy on worrying about people's opinion and taking it personally. And remember, people attack other people usually because they're insecure about themselves. So we must stop trying to control other people's opinions, labeling them up as the jerk, and start taking control, start taking actionable steps towards being a better person. Here's what I want you to do. In short, just to summarize this video, I don't want you to be reactive. I want you to stop, take a breath, and close your mouth. Don't believe everything they are saying in a literal sense. Don't take it so personally. When we're in this type of situation, there's two choices that we can make. Number one is that it's all about us. Number two, it's all on them. Now, when I talk about it's all on us, there might be areas of truth in that. There might be a comment that's made about us not being able to run a marathon. I know I certainly can't be, because I'm not going for a run every day. I'm not training for it. So that's where we need to start seeking understanding and clarification on the situation and start improving in those areas if that's the person that you want to be. If it's about them, then they're most likely definitely a jerk. Which, to be honest, if they are, you don't need to be around them. I talk heavily about that. But secondly, you don't need to react to them, because all you're doing is you're giving your time, your energy towards giving them what they want. They feed off people like you, the weak people, because that's what we are. We're weak if we let people and their opinions control us. Realising that people often make comments, it doesn't mean that they're out to get you. So a little story about how I stopped taking things personally. A couple of years ago, I was definitely the person that took everything quite literally because I was insecure in many areas. I'd been burnt a lot. There was a lot of things that I've gone through, and when you go through life, you automatically do assume that everyone's out to get you if you've been a victim of the similar type of thing in the past. But you've got to start evaluating others, okay? So in this video, I will take you through the steps that I've taken over the years. But my biggest piece of advice to you is people don't always mean bad. And if they do, it's a reflection on that person. And you don't need to give your time and energy to that person at all, because they're not worth it. You can be focusing your energy and your time and persevering that for the good in life, not on these people that really don't care. Maybe they're just jealous. So let's get on into the video, and I hope you enjoy it. Moving on to step one. This is where we're going to recognise the pattern. First off, let's talk about the typical pattern. So someone's made a comment, and that person, we're going to label them up as a jerk. We're going to have our wall and our backup immediately and think of the other person in a negative light and think that they're just out to get you. You label them up as a jerk and you just think and assume that person is out to get you, right? And so our thought when this happens is we try and build up a picture in our mind of we've done nothing wrong, and we bring up that self-defense and start assuming that the other person is wrong. One of the most common reactions is, look at me, I'm the good one, they're the bad one. So this is where we start to overthink situations and our defense mechanism comes out. And during this stage, you might notice that other people have started to walk on eggshells around you. Let's move on to step 2. Now we need to understand why we're offended. And often it comes down to poor boundaries. It's our own attempt to try and control the situation. When we lack clarity and we lack the facts of the matter, we start thinking negatively about the situation even further. And so automatically we fill in the gaps with our own stories. Now that's because we might have experienced something in the past which has triggered and come back to life when this person has said something to you. And we centre it around ourselves and our own personal history. What we need to remember in this situation is it's not about us. People out there might be having a bad day. We all have our bad days. So that person that's made this comment might be having a bad day and therefore said something off the cuff which they didn't really mean. Maybe they're completely oblivious and completely unaware of what they've said and their implications on how your emotions might perceive that comment. Step number 3 is clarity and boundaries. So clarity means you've got to firstly separate the facts from the story you tell yourself. You also might want to understand the cultural differences. So for example, if you're born in the UK and this person that's made the comment is from a European city, you've got to understand the cultural differences between you and that person. And then you've got to recognise the fact that you've been hurt before, and you might automatically assume that it's happening again. Step number 4 is evidence and insecurity. Usually we have no solid evidence that someone is threatening your sense of self. You might be mind reading or projecting your insecurities onto them. Remember that we only feel threatened in areas of our life that we feel insecure of. So if someone calls you an apple, you're not going to take that personally because you know for a fact that you're not an apple. However, if someone was to call you ugly, you're going to take that personally because you're already insecure about it. Moving on to step number 5, practical tips. So here's what we're going to do in the short term. We're not going to respond immediately. We're going to give our time to process the situation. So we're going to stay absolutely silent, okay? You might want to respond to the fact that someone's called you ugly with absolute silence. Do not react. You don't need to give your time or energy to that person, okay? In the medium term, you're going to ask for clarification, okay? So if someone's questioning your ability to run a marathon, let's say, you're going to seek some clarification on what they mean. So if they're questioning your ability to run a marathon, is it because they've never seen you go for a run? Is it because they feel like you're not putting enough energy or time into it? Is it because of the way that you look, your shape or your size? Seek that clarification from that person. So ultimately, we want to seek to understand rather than react. Then we move on to step number 6, which is setting boundaries. So we want to know whether the issue is about you or the other person, and we need to let it go. You don't need everyone to like you, but if you see some small piece of truth in that comment that they've made, then inspect yourself. Understand what they meant when you've gone and sought that clarification, and take time to self-evaluate. See if there actually is real hard evidence and factual truth about what they've said in a comment. And what we're going to do is we're going to replace our assumptions with self-evaluation. Step number 7 is control and growth. So I want you to take a piece of paper and I want you on one side to write down a list of the things that you can control. Next, on the other side of the piece of paper, I want you to write down what you can't control. And remember, when you're doing this, secure people are open to feedback. because they want to grow, they want to develop themselves. So they're always seeking that sort of open feedback from somebody else in order to grow and develop. So when you're writing your list, be completely honest with yourself. And once you've written your list, I want you to ask yourself, what can I learn from this feedback? Now take that piece of paper and in the middle, I want you to rip it up and take the list where you've got things that you cannot control and put it in the bin. With the list of information that we can control, we're going to ask ourselves questions like, what can I learn from this? How can I improve in this area? What can I do to develop myself? And finally, it all boils down to you. What type of person do you want to be? Remember that you're only responsible for your own actions. You can't control what other people do, say, or act like. You're only responsible for your own life. By gaining clarity, setting boundaries, and focusing on your growth, you can stop taking things personally and start living more freely. Thanks for watching, guys, and I hope that you took something from this video. If you want to see more, then make sure you subscribe to my channel. And also, don't forget to leave a comment down below if you want to see any other type of videos. Thanks, guys!